Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday afternoon, and I'm coming to you live from Nakhon, Thammarat, in the south part of Thailand, in the city of Khon. And today it is raining. It started raining about an hour ago, and it's still raining. So normally it wouldn't rain that long for such a long period. And I was thinking of taking you guys back to the stadium today, but yes, unfortunately it started to rain. So we in the little reading nook today once again. Welcome everybody. Claire, thank you so much for joining. And we'll give it a few minutes to wait for everybody to come on. And yes, so exciting times. And I am very happy to let you guys know that, I was able to have my in-person contact visit with Ashley today. Charlene and Chantal, thank you so much, guys, for joining. And yay, you too, Claire. Yes, I almost couldn't sleep last night, and it was such a blessed time that we had today. Yes, so thank you so much, everybody, for joining again, and I'm happy to be here again, and I'm happy to share the photos. I'm sure that you must have seen my little video that I put together with the photos, the new photos as well as the old ones. And yes, it was an amazing time. Marty and Tishan, Christine, thank you so much, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining. And yes, I'm excited to tell you guys about our day, and also to continue reading The Move Part 2, which is the final part. So Sandy, Renee, thank you guys for joining once again. It is raining today, and unfortunately I suppose I could still go, and I was actually thinking about it because I finally bought myself an umbrella the other day. So an umbrella is not only for the rain, but it's for the sun as well. And I keep forgetting that I want to buy an umbrella. And the one that I had, I gave it to someone on the island when I moved. So I finally remembered to buy one the other day, a nice bright pink one. But I'm thinking that it might be a little bit challenging to be, to handle the phone and the umbrella with the rain and all of that together. Anyway, so I decided to stay in our little reading corner here. Cheryl, Andre, Marion, thank you so much, guys, for joining. I really do appreciate. Okay, so yes, my my day started at just before 6 o'clock when I got up, and I finished. And I had some trouble with my skirt because it's a tough material, and I don't have an iron. So I was thinking, what can I use instead of an iron? And I don't have any pots and pans and whatever, to heat the stuff up. And then I remembered about my rice cooker. So I was busy cooking rice, and then this idea came, and it worked amazing, guys. So if you ever do not have an iron and you need to iron something, then a rice cooker would work just fine, the little pot inside. So it was still full of rice and really very hot, and I got to iron it. But then unfortunately, when I put it on this morning, so since I don't have that bod anymore, that little body that I used to have when I ran so much. The line moved a little bit. So it was out by about this size, I think. And but then I just heated it up again quickly. But I only realized this just before I wanted to leave. And so I heated it up. It wasn't that hot, but it made a little bit of a difference. It looked a little bit better. But anyway, so I left at about 6:40, if I remember correctly, and arrived just after 7 o'clock because we were supposed to be there 2 hours before the time. And Sharon, Tara, thank you so much for joining. Michelle, yes, thank you so much for your message too. And yes, it was quite amazing. So we were stamped on the one wrist, and then at point number 1 where they checked us, and they told me I couldn't put the clip because I put my hair up into a clip, and they told me I couldn't take the clip in, I couldn't take the sash, the scarf in, whatever, so I had to leave that. And then we got to take 2,000 baht inside, because then we were able to buy some food to have a meal together and such. They've got fruit, and then they have got snacks as well, and then also soft drinks and water. Yeah. So what Ashley did the other time is she bought a couple of things for her friends to take back inside and such. So and then they have the shirts, the tie-dye shirts. They have these little clips. So she decided to buy us both clips for our hair, and so we exchanged the pair. We took, obviously we had a pair of this and then a pair of this, so she exchanged it so that we would have, each would have a light and a dark color. Anyway, and then also they have key rings, they have satin flowers, and they also have the baskets and the stuff that they make. And then the photos, of course. So the photos were 100 each, and I was hoping it would be cheaper. But so the previous time we could take in 1,000 more, and I was disappointed that I didn't decide that we would, take more pictures, because everything was just so overwhelming. We just didn't think. But anyway, so now this time I said, oh, well, this time we're going to take like 10 pictures. But then I didn't realize it was 100 baht, because the previous time we got 2 photos. Actually, they discounted our photos a little bit, and we got 4 for 200 baht. So, but this time it was the normal price and such. So anyway, so so then you go to point number 2, where you sit down, you wait, and they take half of your paperwork and the application that you had to apply for the visit and such. And everything is so amazingly organized in Thailand with the government stuff. I have to tell you this. So yeah, everything normally, from what I have seen where I've been, it is super, super organized. So you go to point number 2 and sit down and wait, and then they would write, they would stamp. No, the other stamp was inside. No, it wasn't. It was at point number 2. You get another stamp with the date on and such. And then also they write a number on. So I was on the list. I was number 67 when they first called out the names. But then the other people didn't realize we are able to go to point B. So me and some other people realized that, and we quickly walked to point number B. And so I was number 5. And then you have to take your shoes off, and then you go through a point where you get body searched. First, they take your temperature, and there's a little setup TV there with cameras and stuff. So as you walk past, and you obviously have to wear your mask. Then they would take they would record you, and this thing also takes your temperature. And then you've got the nurse on this side, and she takes your temperature as well. Then you get body searched. So this would be the first big gate that you would pass through. And this lady was like, she just ripped my shirt open, looked inside, and then she closed it again. I'm like, what? So yeah, I suppose in prison there is definitely no privacy and no rights. So if you don't like it, if you're from the outside, you can just as well go home. So anyway, inside, behind the wall, it's another thing. You have no rights. So they can do just about what they want to do. But it's all very understandable and such. So, and then we were about, I think it was about 85, 90 people, maybe, names. And then there are family members as well. So, yes, sorry, I just saw my connection was a little bit slow, so I hope that there's no problem from your side. Just let me know. Okay, so then we had to move into the next area where they would close this gate, big, very large gate, and then in front of you is gate number 3. And so you would wait, and then they open up the front gate, and you go through that one, and then you get your flops, your flip flops. So there would be hundreds of pairs of flip flops, and you pick one, and off you go. So so the money, you need to exchange your money for cards, for paper, what do you call it? Paper tickets? Yes, paper tickets. And yeah, then you walk about, I think it's about, is it about 100 meters, 80 meters, 80 meters. So the main side is on this side. You're able to see them, whoever is on that side. And then, yes, all the ladies are sitting there and they are waiting. So as we go, on the pathway, whatever, then it is on the right-hand side, and then everybody looks, excitingly, where's their family and such. So with me and Ashley, it's obviously we ran and we hugged each other, grabbed each other and kissed each other, and not like with the Thais, walking, slowly and in their place and doing their way. And yes, well, that's the difference between our cultures, isn't it? So she looked beautiful, as you can see. Oh, there goes my photo. Anyway, so as you can see on the photos, it was really, the colors were nice, and they've got like 10 different shirts hanging on a rail, and then they get to pick one and just put it over their uniform. So I think that is a very nice gesture that they don't, they allow them to wear something else. And then the background this time was so much better, don't you think? And then at least I thought the officer was going to moan again, because my shirt is not up there. But now, since this is traditional wear, I suppose there wouldn't have been a problem. But just in case, I took 2 other outfits. 2 extra other outfits, yes, because you just never know. Anyways, so, yeah, then we got to take the pictures, and Ashley decided to only take one because she said, Mom, you can send through the letter system, you can send the other pictures, and then I can have it. But I take, and then I cannot show you, or you cannot have this one. So the other one that she decided on that photo, oh my goodness, there's a lot of mosquitoes around me. anyway, so we did this, and it was quite a cute photo. And then obviously you did see the pictures, but I'd just like to brag again, if I may. And then this one, yeah, she looked really beautiful. She always looks beautiful. And then I realized, oh, I forgot to put lipstick on. I don't normally wear, I only wear mascara. That's absolutely the only thing that I always wear since I came to Thailand. And but I do have a very old lipstick, which I did wear the other time, but I completely forgot about it. So anyway, but it doesn't matter. I think that we didn't look too bad, and yeah, we had a nice meal together, and it was rice with some kind of chopped up meat in a little sachet, whatever, that we dumped over the rice. And then we didn't have utensils because you have to actually buy it. But now since we had a little bit less money, and I gave her all the tickets because she is, Minister of Finance, she decided not to buy because we didn't have much left, and she still wanted to buy a key ring for someone. So I said, don't worry. So there was a kind of a snack in a little container this size. So we used a plastic cover to use it as a spoon to eat with. So it was either that or we used our hands, or I could have used my driver's license as well, which I had to, my identification, which I had to take in. So, yeah, in prison, you get to learn a lot of new skills, and you get to think out of the box of using how to, use stuff, or what to use instead of things that you do not have. And I think it's amazing. So not always very convenient, but I think that it is, it's amazing. So yes, and we had 2 hours, and yeah, it was a good time. It was an amazing time. It was amazing to actually be able to touch each other, to hold hands praying, and yeah, just to sit down calmly and not having to rush, with the 15-20 minutes that we usually have. And that's it. So yeah, we thought that I would be able to go and visit her again afterwards, because it is our visiting day for the women. So, but then they said, no, you already visited, and you're not allowed to have your 20 minutes at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So yes, I came home and I did a little video for you guys to also enjoy the photos, and for me to brag a little bit. So yes, that was our day. Amazing, very, very thankful. And we are now just waiting to see what is going to be the next step. The forgiveness, hopefully it will definitely come. But all in good time, all in God's time. And we are, yes, waiting in excitement to see what is going to happen next. So yes. Okay. So the next, she called it the move, but it's the arrival, obviously. Okay. There are certain dates prisoners remember: date of arrest, judgment dates, transfer dates. I arrived 2 days after my second Christmas. Oh, sorry. She wrote this February 28th, or roundabout, February, sometime in February last year, 2024. And she was moved. She arrived on December, I think it was the 30th of December 2021. Yes, at this prison, at the big prison. Okay. So I arrived 2 days after my second Christmas. Okay, so that would be the 27th, sorry. The small island prison surrounded by palm trees that reach up into the sky, high enough for us to see them waving at us, and that cool sea breeze that comes to relieve us every now and then, now seems a world away, when in reality, we've only traveled about 4 hours. I didn't get motion sickness like most do after so long, without much motion, but I've been up since 3, and I'm starting to feel the coffee I never had. So they travel for 4 hours, so normally you would travel 1.5 hours by ferry. When you reach the mainland, it would take me on the bike roughly about to the prison roughly about 2 hours. Okay, and that is going at a speed of between 100 and 115 roundabout. So through the gates, and it's about 130 kilometers, yes. Through the gates we go, driving in a lane that has a row of trees on each side, and I'm reminded of the entrance of Suratani's airport. But this lane is much shorter, and its destination, instead of denoting freedom and movement, leaves it horribly truncated. Welcome to the big prison. From what I can tell from the outside, the front here oddly resembles the reception room of a high school. But then, all the government institutions resemble one another. The teachers and the guards all have the same uniform. Can anyone blame me for still calling the officers onderwysers? And she still does, up to this day. Teacher. When I speak to my mom, if there's occasion to wear a color shirt, each day in Thailand has its color. The week starts off with my favorite color, yellow. Tuesday blushes in pink. Wednesdays are green. Orange on Thursdays. Fridays are light blue. Saturday welcomes purple. And Sundays, sports red. For us, the same color every day of the week. I ostentatiously write my name in Thai to confirm my arrival, determined to correct the spelling error the person responsible for drawing up my case made, so as to be called as close to my real name as possible for people who are unable to blend the sounds of sh and l. It's all in vain, Aslay. But now I'm not chained anymore, because these high walls and many guards around me leave little opportunity for escape. They have themselves a whole little world to rule over in here. We walk, not far, but still we walk, over to the big steel doors with the Thai numerical 8, which is to reveal my next abode. I'm not taken to see what lies behind doors 1 to 7, because those are all for men. Women are the minority, but still there are 10 times as many here as is whence I come. Never in my life have I felt more desolate. That feeling of entering prison for the first time returns, only intensified. I'm in the biggest cell I've been in since ever having been in one, and I'm the only one. People come to stare at me like I'm an animal in a cage, though they're careful to keep their distance, like I'm a leaper. It's only COVID. I'm only a foreigner. But my coat of blonde is real, and the health precautions need to be adhered. I was happy, though, at first, to finally have semblance of privacy. But such a big empty room makes you feel small. The cold floor serves as your bed, dining table, and living area. Of what there's to eat, I'll make no mention here, but you'll find in my medical history a few entries for stomach problems during those first months as I was adapting to these muster conditions. At night, I was shivering, trying to add as much warmth as possible by layering my scanty wardrobe to serve as a sleeping mat and wrapping myself in the blankets to fight off the cold, but never quite succeeding. And I spent the lonely hours of the night waiting for daybreak so I can take a nap in a patch of sun. Who knew that Thailand too can forget its warmth and for a season to turn cold on us? So this was during cold season. 3 days pass, and I'm surprised to feel so affected by the lack of company. How treacherous real prolonged confinement must be. I sit murmuring, and God tells me that the thought only is sufficient. I need not endure these hours of solitude much longer, and a friend arrives. For the remainder of my stay in quarantine, neither of us sick, however. We kept each other's company while having our meals, or when in a talkative mood, but mostly just stayed like that, in oppressive silence. How blessed we were as well, for this is the only time that this cell has had but 2 occupants. All the time before and afterwards, it has been uncomfortably full. God really does spare me some. For all the mental and moral preparations I may have made unknowingly, physical preparations require planning and foresight, and this I had not done. For how could I have known? So many of my things stayed behind on Samui in my haste, or was still in my friend's locker if we shared something. My account has but a few hundred baht in, and even what little I have, I am unable to access while we wait for my documents to come, something that will only happen 3 months later in my unlucky case. For the other quicker option, getting an in-person visit, isn't in my realm of possibilities at the moment. My stock of toiletries will do for another few weeks if I use sparingly. And at that stage, I had to send money through the embassy. And unfortunately, they took about 2 months before she got the money. And I dare not think about those days because otherwise it would, I think, drive me off the edge just thinking of what she had to endure during those 3 months. As New Year's Eve approaches, I try to avoid reminiscences of the outside, though at some point my thoughts always turn to that involuntarily. But this year I do allow myself to lament. For this day in Samui prison, we've ordered cake and there were activities planned. Now I'll have to do with the government food and more than my usual confinement. Though, let's not dwell on that, for it will be New Year soon. There will be celebrations and fireworks. Surely there must be better things to come. Best cheer up. Since early morning on the 31st, I can feel the festivity in the air. The girls all do their hair into different hairstyles, like cute braids that make cat ears, or other funky varieties. And one thing I understand, for it can be felt in the air, is that tonight we will dance. At the pent-up emotions I have had to suppress up until now are being transmuted into one of the greatest forms of expression, dance. Every fiber of my body is included, and while my soul gets to take part, my mind is able to rest, for it knows that it only hinders these freeing movements if it should listen to itself instead of to the music. And the music isn't even that great, but has somehow been elevated by my lowly position. What a spectacle! This foreigner, who scarcely anyone has spoken to, save a few that are filled in my medical forms and case files. Here she is, and she is dancing like no one is watching. when in fact, everybody is. My single cell is next to the nursing station, opposite the rest of 13 cells, stretching out to our left-hand side. Everyone from the furthest cell on the right to about halfway through this have a good view of me in this well-lit, capacious room with its 2 inhabitants. The other shyly sitting against the front wall as not to be seen. My own view is obstructed by all the bars in front, the way the light falls, and the angle I'm looking from, so that I cannot make out faces, but can see the general movement and hear everything very clearly. I don't feel like 1,000 of people are watching me. Besides, I'll be moving to Bangkok soon anyways. This is just a stopover. It's been a 2-year stopover so far. What I found out the morning after is that they have this nice custom where they bring people who dance for them gifts. Isn't that lovely? These gifts are thank yous because of those who stood up to create the vibe, to entertain, to make our everyday surroundings special for the few special days that we do get to celebrate. Not from things without, but from something within. Others are motivated by these gifts that they see as their prizes, and those who want to play along said it. This for the person who continues dancing the longest, that for the one who brings the most cheers. But all of this I couldn't have known in my confinement. Even if I knew about this beforehand, it would have been my incentive. But it certainly was appreciated afterwards. And on New Year's Day, we had our feast. Bits and pieces others had to spare, they sent to us. It trickled on day after day for the remainder of our time in quarantine. Noodles, cookies, milk boxes, and the like. Once we even received coffee. Having no hot water, we used the room temperature water and shaked the contents of the coffee sachet in an empty plastic bottle. And in that moment, I thought it was some of the best coffee I ever had. Now, when people come to see my exhibit, they come with smiles more than stares. And I'm struck by 2 things: how young most of these girls are and how pretty. By now, I've only been in contact with the nurses' helpers, and they all seem so happy. But as soon as I was let out after nearly a month, I saw more shades, bodies deformed by acid, people who's lost an eye or a leg, and so many different scars. I'm sorry. That made me shudder to think what the cause of it was. And the few elderly ladies was a pity to see them hear about. At least I have my strength and my vigor to see me through the hardships of prison life. Of course, there could be better circumstances, but it could be worse as well. The important thing is our attitude to whatever life throws of us. The important thing is, at the time, the move felt very traumatic, but from the moment I lifted my hand to silence the officer over on Samui, little drama queen that I can be, I knew I have to resign myself some. And the decision to dance and partake instead of hiding away against the wall, it set the tone for the rest of my stay here. Emotions are part of being human, and even our Lord Jesus had them. But let us try and view our emotions for what they are, this is anger, this is fear, instead of exclaiming, I'm afraid. For once we allow any certain emotion to overwhelm us, it distracts our clear way of thinking. So instead of being pragmatic and making decisions calmly, we act rashly as a response from these emotions. You're allowed to feel your emotions. Indeed, it is helpful. But try to separate these thoughts from your actions. Be with that feeling for as long as needed. If you are sad, cry. Or find a quiet spot to wallow in your sadness until you are sated with grief. If you're angry, find a constructive way to let go of this wrath. Punch the heavy bag. Shout into your pillow. There is your emotion. It is present. You acknowledge it. You give way to it, and it's done. You dry your eyes or wipe your brow. You pick up your head, and you ask yourself, so what now? And you deal with your situation calmly, in a state of mind beneficial to yourself. Find the best way to change the things that you can. Ask God for patience and perseverance to accept the things that you cannot change. And pray for discernment to distinguish between the two. With love, Ash. Thank you, guys. And I didn't expect to get emotional, and I forgot about that part. We don't realize, what people see, what this child has seen and had to experience, and still does, that we as adults, older people have never even thought about, maybe, perhaps. And but there's a reason for everything, and God's grace is enough. He will never leave us, and nor will he forsake us, and he will always be faithful at the end of each day, and he will never give us more than we can handle, and when it gets too much, he will give the way out, not in the way that we usually expect, but in hindsight, we will see that it is the best way. So thank you guys for watching, for joining, for supporting us. Thank you so much for all of your prayers. And you must have an amazing, blessed weekend. Whatever you do, do everything as unto the Lord. And yes, I'm very thankful for you guys. Thank you so much, and thank you, Lord Jesus. Praise God for all of his grace and everything. Okay, guys, be blessed. Thank you so much.